Yeah. Alright. Self-confidence formula. First, I know I've been building to the offense my definite purpose in mind. Therefore, I demand of myself consistent continuous action towards attainment, and I hear it out wrong to render such action. Second, I realize God made thoughts in my mind for my three pieces of now in physical action, and gradually transport themselves to reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts 30 minutes daily on the task of being a person I intend to tell, thereby creating my mind clear foundation of that person. Third, I know that there is not obsession, any desire that is consistent over my mind will exist as well. Therefore, I will go 10 minutes in, uniting myself and others self-confidence. Four, I have lived it down as to my definite achievement in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall develop to self-confidence towards attainment. Fifth, I fully realize that no love and physical law is over unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage no transactions for others. Sixth, I will succeed by attracting myself and more selling to you and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me, and I will serve others. I will maintain and empty jealousy, self-contention by developing love for all humanity. Because I know that in making passion towards others, I will reach success. I will cause others to believe in me, because I believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit its memory, and repeat aloud once a day with full faith that gradually influences my thoughts and actions so I'll become self-confident as a person. Hoorah! Alright, 12 steps. This is a 12-step formula of different standards which, when followed in practice and followed in environment, guarantees 24+ transactions daily and I'm searching for personal growth and achievement. 1. I dedicate 1 hour daily towards building and making myself confident. 2. I practice verbalizing my sales skills for a minimum 1 hour each day. 3. I contact my spirit by mail, by phone, and door encouragement and by email quarterly. 4. I make 150+ contacts per week, 30+ per day, but I follow in person. 5. I follow up and call every day. 6. I take time up to find some people buyers and sellers. 7. I exclude people off my purchase and my place. 8. I have one today to let me take care of myself and do it. 9. I call my sellers weekly because it's all less than the reason for my 10. I sell 75% more of my inventory. 11. I look for every sign of and the cars and get our inventory. 12. I only work with highly qualified buyers. And side buyer will review. There's more predictable than much of the event. I recognize that's what therefore, I commit the following every step to all that's coming today. Alright. Now I am the Lord. I am the Lord. I will lead not follow. I will lead not follow. I will lead not doubt. I will lead not doubt. I will pray not slow. I will pray not slow. I am a force for good. I am a force for good. I am a leader. I am a leader. By the off. By the off. Study the standard. Study the standard. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Step up. Alright, morning affirmation. I bless myself with the gift of love. And in the name of my life to the call. I rise my right. I focus on small things every day. Real success and actions for all the heart. I know you can for me. I get stronger every step. I master every situation. My options escape with my love and integrity. I always have a thoughts. I take extra care of my body. I start to take my energy. I die for you. I take first my own age. I know I don't want to get it. I track and for the greater the rest of one each day. I gratitude gives me a little chance to success. I need prosperous. I am prosperous. I have my one thing off each day. Taking action easy for me. I am in sorry today. I enjoy being desperate. I exercise daily. I really only want to succeed. I love food. I will say effort. I know I expect to do the work. I'm professional. I can actually bad. I reduce the need of another. I lose. I'm going to do my business. I know it's right. Tell my others. Prospects need to be forward. I do it all the way tomorrow. Before I track my enthusiasm, ready to not succeed. I get better stronger than all I think. I know it's ready to go first. I'm powerful. I want to succeed. I keep following. I follow up and not find off. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Awesome.
Good. Chris came in my office yesterday right as they were all leaving to head to the airport and said, hey, you want to handle morning Ascent tomorrow? So you get to see me twice in a week, basically. So any wins, any gratitudes today?
I don't know how many were here for Louis' base camp yesterday, but he series of questions about like what our goals are and how they make us feel, and helping us attach our emotions to our goals. And sometimes our goals are just goals, and they don't have. And so anyway, it helped me kind of to rethink about why those things are important to me, instead of just like and then decide how to put the tools in place to reach those goals, instead of just like, here's a goal out here, you know. And essentially he kind of equated it to like going shopping without money. You know, if you don't have the skills in place, you can't go shopping for your goals. And so anyway, I'm just really grateful for all of the different thoughts and ideas that come to us through others, and just the continued mindset for, you know, in this company.
I'm grateful for Mark's mom grew up.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's gotten busy. Any other ones? I'm grateful. That's the first time I've had both my team members up here with me at the same time, so I'm grateful for them.
I'm grateful Cruz asked you. He didn't make one more door.
Yeah, I have gratitude. I decided today to, for my gratitude, write this down. To just write down a tribute, my personal tribute to Dave Stocco in the book here, being that it was a week ago that his wife was taken. And I'm still trying to process all this. What can I learn from it? Who is Dave to me? When I started here in 2010, I remember my producing agent was Rodriguez for not just a year, but a man, but a person. So that's my gratitude today. A tribute to him, the example he was.
Any others? So my gratitude is actually that I'm alive today. My son will laugh at this, but you know, I think my house is haunted. So I went to bed last night, and you know, I'm sleeping pretty decent. And about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, my doorbell rings, and so you know, you get a doorbell ring in the middle of the night, you're worried about, okay, who's dead, who's dying, which neighbor's having problems, whatever else, right? So I get up, throw on some clothes, go downstairs, open up the door, and there is nobody there. So now I'm thinking, okay, it's just you know, some kids doorbell ditching or something like that. Well, we've had snow. I'm looking around, there's not a single footprint on the sidewalk, there's nothing on the driveway, there's only my dog's prints across the grass, so I'm convinced my house is haunted. I'm just grateful to be alive now because, you know, it spooked me. So then he never wakes up, and, you know, he comes walking upstairs, and he's like, who's at the door? I'm like, nobody. He's like, no way. So then he's looking outside the door, like, okay, what's going on here? So it was just a little creepy. And he loves, you know, scary stories, so I figured he can come and take over my house now and let them kill him, and then I can move back in. But
Thank you.
anyway, so today it's going to go a little bit, I guess, with what Louis did yesterday. I told some of my story last week that, you know, I had a large nursing home company. We had, at any given time, up to 67 nursing homes, and I was on it was called the American Healthcare Association's board, so I was on that board for about 8 years. And then we also had what was called the Long-Term Care 100, which is the top 100, you know, care providers in the country size-wise and stuff. And so I sat on that board as well. And we would have 2 conferences a year with that board, and they would bring in vendors, everybody just kind of treat you like a king or a queen for the week while they're trying to get the business. But they'd also bring in all these seminars and all these speakers and stuff for us while we were there. And I was lucky enough in 2010 to meet Denzel Washington as he came to speak to our group. And let me tell you, for a guy that's made as much money as him and has done as much with his life, he's one of the most humble, down-to-earth, talk-to type of people you'll ever meet. I mean, just a fabulous man. And you could genuinely tell when he was talking to you, not just when he was standing up in front, but when he was talking to you, that he actually just cared about people. He cared about you, about people. He wasn't just there to earn a paycheck or whatever else. That he legitimately had this, you know, something inside of him that made him care about other people. So this talk that I'm going to have Andy turn on for us right now, and I've got a kind of a copy of it. It's really hard to find on the internet as far as the true version of the talk. The true version is about 30 minutes. This clip I'm going to show you is about 9 minutes. And I'm going to give you the paper, and I want to just kind of talk about it because he gives us some points that we can live by to really help us, especially when it comes to talking about goals and stuff. So have Andy turn that on for us.
Number one, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shops now? What they call it now? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil, I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do, and she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do. If you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. Number two, fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. Number 3, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I don't care how much money you make, you can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it. They got robbed. That's all they got. You can't take it with you. And it's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. We all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses, some teachers. Yeah, okay. Some preachers. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Well, one or two things, but nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is, in helping others. That's where the success is, in helping others. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. It's how I live my life. That's why I am. One of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
So I'm going to hand this out. This is kind of a copy of the talk. I know you're trying to take notes and stuff, but this will also give you a little bit of a copy of the talk. And I just wanted to kind of talk about this really quickly before we wrap up. So, first of all, anything that struck you from that?
Awesome. I love that last part. You know, well inspired to be living, inspired to be powerful.
It is powerful. The whole talk was powerful.
Yeah.
And I heard a kind of a version of this when he spoke in 2010, so it's been evolving, you know, for probably quite a long time for him.
Oh, just when he says say thank you for what you already have, just the power of gratitude and what it's able to bring.
Exactly, and I'm going to hit on these. So let's just start kind of back up at the beginning. Number one, he says, put God first. Now, I don't care if you're religious or not. What does that mean to you?
You have a higher power than your God.
And what does that do? Because he hits on this.
It just takes you to above yourself.
to a higher power.
And he said that for him, he said that by putting God first, right, it brought what to his life? It made him become, starts with an H, humble. It made him become humble. So he said that, he says through here, he said, he talks about a lot of things. First of all, isn't it funny that as he talks about starting out, he had no direction in life? He was flunking out of college, sitting in his mother's beauty parlor, and some random lady says, you're going to be famous, you're going to travel the world, right? And it's the first time he says in his life that he started looking for what was he really going to become? What was he going to do? And that stuck with him as his motivating drive and goal to become successful. Was just some random lady sitting in a beauty parlor saying, you're going to be successful, you're going to travel the world.
But I think that reminds us to speak life into other people. That what we say matters to people.
Yep.
Because, she could have said your life is going to be hell, and then he would have just started looking for all the crap in his life.
True.
So when we talk to people, we have to remember that that's what we're giving forward.
So then he has a little piece that kind of, he talks about, what you're saying to other people. Because right after that, he talked about how his mother started basically telling him, right, that, his mother said, she looked me in the eye. Let's see, what's the part here? She says, here's what she taught me. She says, I've been protected, I've been directed, I've been corrected, right? She started teaching him that it wasn't all about him. That there was a lot of other people and a lot of other things happening to make him the kind of person that he was. And that he needed to be, grateful, and he needed to have that humility. So he said, I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I don't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. And then number 2, he said, fell big. What does that mean to you? To fell big.
If you're not trying, when I was in the beginning of my career in real estate, I did something wrong, and I was getting beat up by this other agent that was more experienced. And she says, I have never made a mistake, and it made me feel really crappy. And I went to my broker about it, and he told me, he says, Evan, if she hasn't made a mistake in real estate, she's not trying. And so, don't worry about making mistakes. Just worry about not working as hard as you can.
I agree. I mean, I said it last week when I was talking a little bit about my career, but I don't know a lot of people out there that can go, hey, I failed. I lost a $100 million company in 6 months. That's a big fail, but I am a better person today than I was 6-7 years ago when that happened. It taught me a lot of things about myself and about just getting back up and beating cancer. I don't think I'd have beat cancer if it wouldn't have been for failing in my business, because it refocused my life and taught me that there was things that were way more important than just having the money and the cars and everything else. That I have a beautiful son, I have beautiful daughters, I have a beautiful family, right? And so it taught me a lot of things. But you have to dream big to fail big, right? And that's the part that I get out of that, is if you don't have big dreams, you're not going to fail big. You're going to just kind of, go about life and whatever else. So as he goes through there, right, here's some of the things he says. You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. So, and then he says it again. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, this is the part I love. Remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So she was talking about Louis anchoring them to emotions and to things that are going to make you, want to be successful. He says, so don't just have dreams, but have goals, have life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. How many of you have a daily goal for today? Okay. So did you have a daily goal yesterday? Did you accomplish your daily goal yesterday? So, I mean, he says that sometimes his daily goal is just not to curse somebody else out, right? Sometimes what should your daily goal be? Something that you make sure you can accomplish so that you can go home feeling like I had a success. I think a lot of you have seen the video from the Admiral that stands up there and says what about starting your day? Make your bed. Because at least when you get to the end of the day, you can say, yeah, I did one thing today. So when you set some daily goals, make sure you set some that you can achieve. It doesn't have to be something so far out there that you'll never achieve it, because then the next day you don't believe in your goal, and the next day you don't believe in your goal, and the next day you don't believe in your goal. So if you want to get to your weekly goals, your daily goals have to build to make sure you're going to get your weekly goal done. Your weekly goal has to build to get your monthly goal done. Your monthly goal has to build to get your yearly goal done, right? And all those should be moving you toward your big why. We're in this industry, and George says it all the time. What's your why? So if your goals aren't pushing you towards your why, you need to re-examine those. So then he says, have big goals and understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. So you can't just try it at once and give up. You can't try it at 2 or 3 days. It has to be something you consistently try at. Now, then he kind of goes on and says, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. We know that. But I like what he says right after he says that this is that top line of the second page there. He says, hard work works. Right? You have to just work hard. He says, working really hard is what successful people do. Right? But my brother used to always tell employees that would tell him, I'm working really hard. He'd say, so's my washing machine. What does he mean by that?
Don't confuse movement with your progress.
Exactly. Because again, he said, I could come to your house. He'd always tell him this. I could come to your house and I could throw a big old giant load of wash in, but does it mean that that's going to be clean at the end? If I didn't separate them, I didn't put the right color, the right temperature on for it, I didn't put bleach in, I didn't do the things I had to do. Is your laundry really getting clean? Well, you may be taking some of the dirt out, but you maybe don't have what you want it to look like at the very end, right? So don't confuse I'm working hard with actually accomplishing something. Make that hard work tie into your goals. An example of that. Andy knows that I used to be the king of saying, I'm going to contact 50 people today. And that was my goal. What would I do? I'd contact 50 people today. And then what? I'd go home and go, crap, I didn't have any appointments today. I worked hard. I talked to 50 people, but I didn't set an appointment. I didn't do anything that really had an outcome from that. But boy, I felt good because I made 50 contacts and whatever, but I really wasn't accomplishing anything. I was just going through the motions of working hard. So then he comes on to say, continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue your progress. And then he starts out, number 3, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole talk. What does he mean?
It means you can't take your stuff with you once you are already doing this life. You're willing to take what you have gained in your experience, your knowledge. That's what's going to live with you in everything you've done in your life.
Yeah.
I think the part that gets missed out on that is there's a procession that follows the hearse. There's the people in your life that follow the hearse from your church, wherever you're having the ceremony, to the cemetery. The people who you've affected follow you through that, not the stuff you gave.
What else? What else does that mean to you?
It's what about what you leave behind, not what you collect.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely say that for a long period of my career, it was just about buying another nursing home, making more money, it was all that. And then suddenly when you start to lose that, but you also have the threat of, I'm going to lose my life and everything else took a different meaning and takes on different urgency, right? So he goes through and a couple things there, and this goes into, I want you to take this as part of what goes into your thank yous and your gratitude journal. Because again, here's what he says. He says, as he's going through on this, right, he's saying that you need to say thank you. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. So he's saying, you need to be thankful. And when you start to change your mind around and being thankful on things, everything around you starts to change. I told a story last week a little bit of one of the agents that started at kind of the same time as me here, almost 3.5, 4 years ago, and just how kind of negative he was on looking at everything, right? And I had to finally just confront him and say, stop. You can't be around me if you're going to be negative like that. You've got to be thankful for things in your life. There are a lot of good things going on around you. Take the time to look at those. So when you're writing your gratitude journal, take the time to look at that type of stuff. And I'm going to bring that in for one last thing in just a second. But the other thing here, Andy's favorite book, right, is Atlas Shrugged. And what is she saying there that ties to this, Andy?
She wrote a whole philosophy afterwards that talks about the virtue of selfishness, which is what he's talking about. That when we give to people, when we go do charity work or whatever, you're giving, it's selfless because you're giving to other people, but you're selfish because it's how it makes you feel. I know when I go put a stack of groceries on somebody's doorstep that I know is struggling, I feel good about it. Did I give them something? Of course. But I did it because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, and so he kind of brought that up in here. It's just, to remember that to, go out and help others really is a selfish act. It makes you feel better. It makes you forget about all the things going on in your life and just brings you that joy. So don't forget to help others along the way with your journey. Do the things that can do that. And then I just want to end with what he ended with here, right? So he was just saying true desire in the heart, that itch that you will have whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire is an itch. That's God's proof to you sent beforehand already indicate that it's yours. Did you hear what that just said? What is that saying that success really is?
Following the dream that's in your heart.
Yeah, it's a mindset, right? Be thanking God already for what you know you're going to achieve, is what he just said. Think about that. When you get out and you say your prayers or you're writing your gratitude journal, he's saying, hey, go ahead and thank him right now for that thing that you know you're going to get. It's a mindset. If you don't believe you're going to be successful, you might as well just stay in bed that day, right? So be thankful already for what you're going to achieve and then go do it. And that's what I take out of that. And then he ends it and he says, anything you want that is good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back, pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Again, the journey's not about yourself. So he said, when you get there, do what? Reach back and pull somebody else up. And then it's your job to teach somebody else, right? Help somebody else become successful as well. And then he says, don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. I agree. Thank you. Okay, closing affirmations.
Alright. I succeed because I act on my goals. I'm an optimist. I like talking to new people. I know it's important to me. I remember people's names. I'm a daily man to follow. I'm passionate about listening. I know this is my favorite tool. I like asking questions and listening. I enjoy reading to improve my self skills. I love balancing my emotions, actions, and goals. I focus on my dreams daily. My presentation is far from complacent. I improve my skills daily. I am happy. I love the prospect of increase my business. I see my future is awesome. I love my life. I'm grateful and thankful. I control my thinking. I believe in me. I feel outstanding. I use my beliefs to optimize the CA. I get things done. I provide customer service. I drink water daily. I connect with people. People love me. I love others. I'm disciplined account for my daily schedule. I prospect daily. I set appointments daily. I'm a master persuader. I achieve my goals. I'm a real estate rock star. I'm passionate about my life. I know everything purpose. I'm confident in my self skills. I know my destiny. I'm healthy and strong. I'm powerful. I'm unstoppable. I need positive, exciting,
I have a product here.
Nice meeting you, Eric.
Okay. Tiffany and I are